Alright, January 7th. This is a garden tour, checking out some of the things growing. Alright. More compost tea for the little fence garden here. We've been getting a lot of rain. We've been using all rainwater and recycled water since the beginning of November. And there's more rain coming our way. Here we have some chard, some cabbage, California poppies, fennel, chard, poppies, mostly arugula, it's a little bit of mitsuba. These are potatoes, just from the compost. This is actually the second year they've grown back. I'm sure we'll get a few more potatoes out of them. Here we have like little lettuce plants coming up. Red lettuce. This is celery. It's mint, arugula, kale. This is flax. The seed pods are quite edible, and that's kind of what I grow them for. This is basil, kapur tulsi, kind of smells like bubble gum. Here's some kind of cabbage or cauliflower or flax. This would be the same plant as that one. There's more basil, and some dill. There's a little tomato in there. This is some arugula. There's like a donkey bone right there. There's little bits of grapefruit peel thrown in here. I usually throw citrus out in the garden. These are canna lilies. This is some basil, arugula, cauliflower, or some kind of cabbage. I don't even really keep track. They're all sort of the same kinds of plants to me as far as I'm concerned. And here's some carrots, some dandelions, soy, some sorrel. This is some shiso. It's got kind of like a purplish leaf underneath. Love all the colorful plants. Here we have some arugula, sweet potatoes, and more cabbage. Here's some more flax. If I don't train them onto the fence like this, and they'll flop all over into the driveway and the cars will run them over. There's some dill, cabbage. A lot of these are seeds that I started here, and they're crosses of different kinds of cabbage, so I have no idea what their parents are, just that this guy is kind of a red color. It's kind of a mild, spicy. This is kind of like a more sickly area. Nothing's growing too big or too well here, but I'm sure it'll come around soon enough. There's another one of those trees. These are some tiny little micro tomatoes, currant tomatoes, growing out like a little bunny rabbit there. Here's some marjoram. Here's some mallow. This is rue. This is sage. It's another one of those trees. Some more arugula. Some thyme. Some more arugula. Some dill. Some basil mint. Chia. Spicy basil. Got some yarrow down here. Some dill. Cabbage. cabbages. This artichoke's getting nice and big. Makes a lot of mulch, as you can see down here. That's definitely a great quality to this plant. Some more arugula down there. There's the nasturtium, which I gotta start picking back this guy, or he keeps getting run over. He's making a break for it big time. This guy, trying to give this artichoke more of a chance. Up here along the side, got some asparagus. Carrots, some shiso, carrots, dill, more mustard greens, reds, I should say. Here's kind of a spicy mustard. There's a green onion. There's a artichoke, more mustard, lemongrass, some aloe. This is where the hose is, which we haven't really needed to use this in a while. This guy's slowly starting to block the entrance. There's a lot of little clovers coming up. This is another potato, which just kind of popped up on its own. So I'm sure there's a couple little potatoes down there to be dug out at some point. This area only gets light in the winter, and it's good for growing greens during the winter months, but not so much in the summer. But got some succulents back here that'll get established and hang out in the summer. This is wormwood. This is right next to where I park, and I'm always running over the wormwood almost every day when I drive, or as often as I drive, and it smells really good. And this is mugwort. There's a little fennel flower here that's making a break for it. It's all connected to this part of the plant right here. There's a few seeds from the fennel plant last season, but this is perennial. It just keeps coming back year after year. You can kind of see some of these older stalks down here that are starting to rot away, and then you've got the newer kind of vegetable part, which is a lot like celery, and then you've got the frilly part up here. And this is some more basil, kind of tulsi. I really like it. It's got a nice woody stem, really easy to propagate. And then this is some lemongrass. There's more mugwort back there, and a bunch of aloe as well. And there's like a real, you can see a kind of a strawberry forming right here. There's a few strawberries in there. There's also some mint. This is kind of a mess right here. These are super infested. Kale plant, there's tons of little aphids on there. This is an aloe flower, aloe vera. There's some dill growing down there. Some nasturtium. There's some purple cabbage. oregano. Some chard right there, more aloe. These are tomato plants, which they've probably grown about a foot in the last week. But this spot by the house gets a lot of heat trapped in there, and they seem to really be loving it. Here's zucchini. There's some lemon balm. This is Brussels sprouts. You can see all the little bulbs on there. And we've got different kinds of celery and lettuce. This is peppermint. Lots of new transplants in here, different kinds of lettuces. Here's some shiso. There's hops under here. I had to move him. There's a lot of flies too. Well, this is it right here. And you might be able to see that little nodule there. That will be a new sprout. And there's a bunch more a little bit further down. So this will sprout back in maybe a month or so, I hope. And I'll have more hops growing everywhere. Here we are on the porch. Not quite as much growing on up here. That's because it was just planted. So here's some of the rainwater we've been saving. And over here we have a little triangle garden. Some of the plants are on hiatus in an art installation. They'll be back in about a month or less. Here we have some celery. Some lettuce, more of the purple cabbage. Here we have some tatsoi. This is apple mint. Comes back every year. Here we have some dandelions, putting out little flowers. Some plantain right there, some arugula, tatsoi, there's some kale up here, and here's a little kale stalk, which I chopped it back as it was infested and kind of weak, but now it's starting to grow these new little kale sprouts. So I'm sure give it a month or two, it will be productive once more. Here's another little tree coming up. This is a macrot lime. These are nitrogen fixing trees, so I just grow them until I feel like they're inconveniencing me. Here we have some beets, more beets. You can see a few of the beets themselves down here, but I mostly just grow them for the beet greens, which are even more nutritious than the beets. This guy still needs to be planted, a thyme plant. Here we have some chia. This guy's doing unusually well for this time of the year. Just different kinds of things like lettuces, some more of those currant tomatoes, dandelions. I have a lot of that lettuce. Just more kinds of containers, some avocados. Here's a tomato, which this guy is being ravaged by spider mites, but he continues to produce tomatoes. And down there we have some stinging nettles. So one of these garden boxes I had to transplant all the plants out
into this garden bed over here. So a lot of these plants I just put in last night, or just a few, I guess. And some of these plants are ready to come out too. Some of these little ornamental glass vegetables in the garden, so you might see those. But we have a canna, some cabbage, or collard, more cabbage. Here's a little tomato plant that has kind of struggled. It produced some tomatoes, but then they were eaten. And here we have some Thai basil that's doing pretty well. There's some sweet potato, which a lot of the plants in the garden, if they hang in there for a month or two, then they'll be productive once more. Here's just a bunch of muck. We need to clear this out. And here are some cannas, some basil, red amaranth. You can see all the little seeds. There's some mint down there. There's avocado. There's some sweet potato growing out of it. Down there, there's some mugwort. Here's a big mugwort plant. It just kind of takes over this whole area. It really likes the sandy soil. This was all sand about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. And priority number one is getting more organic matter into the soil. And the more I add, the more it grows. There's a little rosemary, some cabbage, Thai basil, more basil back here, which hopefully that will hang on for another month or so. This is a plantain, collards, basil, kale, arugula. This is some more cannas. I think this is turmeric. We have rue, larger variety. There's some collards back there. This is some kind of lemon basil. This is a lemon verbena. Here's some more collards. And this is a lavender plant. This is definitely a turmeric plant right there. There would be another one of those baby tomatoes. These are all lettuce, ready to be planted out or grown more. Here's just some succulents I threw in there a couple years ago. This is ginger. There's another one under there too. There's all these little aloe babies, pups. And back here we've got even more cabbage and some mugwort coming up. Mugwort spreads through rhizomes, which pretty much anywhere there's excess water, the mugwort will find it and grow a plant there. And ever since I've been doing this gardening experiment on this little sandy area, which is now a rich black kind of cake, this palm tree has been loving it, just dropping all these fruits down here. The squirrels come by and eat all the fruits, and some of the fruits just fall down here anyway. It looks like there's some kind of fermentation going on in this vessel. But yeah, it's It's a nice mess. There's an agave and a cactus, prickly pear.